everybody. I just wanted to make sure that we're recording. Today we're talking about finding domain and range and identifying functions from graphs using the vertical line test. So let's talk about the unit as a whole. The unit as a whole, we're talking about graphing. And when we're talking about graphing, specifically we're talking about graphing on a two-dimensional number line. It's a coordinate system. And this is in everyday life. The Earth has longitude and latitude, which is essentially a two-dimensional number line. It's a coordinate system as well. It's a graph. And so when we talk about graphs, the point in the middle right here, and I'll make sure and post this side as well, the point in the middle right here is called the origin. That's where everything starts. That's why it's called the origin. You think of like superhero origin stories. Where did they come from, right? They came from right here at 0, 0. So there's two axes. There's the x-axis. You can see that right here. The x-axis goes side to side, and the y-axis. The y-axis goes up and down. And in this coordinate system, there are 4 quadrants. There are 4 quarters of this. So here's quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. You can start at the upper right where both the x and y's are positive. Sorry, a little yawn. And then if you go counterclockwise, you can get to all 4 quadrants. Okay, so the horizontal axis is called the x-axis, and the vertical one is called the y-axis. Horizontal goes side to side, just like the horizon. The horizon is what you can see kind of when you look out on the world, right? It's just this flat line where the Earth meets the sky. Every point that you can graph on this coordinate plane, in this coordinate system, has an x part, a side-to-side part, and a y part, an up and down part. So no matter where we look, if I want to graph, let's say 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, that's my side-to-side movement, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you don't actually put the dot down until you've gone both directions. So 2, 4. That's an example of how to graph things, right? We're going to get into that more. Right, here we go. Here's an example, actually. So if I want to go to negative 7, 1, I know that the negative 7, that's my x part, right? The first part is the x part. And so that's my side-to-side movement. Since it's negative, it's going to go backwards 7 from the origin, backwards 7. And then the y part is up 1 because it's a positive 1. So 1, my point is right here. Okay, so this side is going to be really good for brushing up on how to graph. When we talk about domain and range, let me go ahead and bring that up here. Okay, domain and range. All domain and range means is domain is all the x parts, range is all the y parts. So domain is just the x parts, negative 6, negative 7, 1, 0, and negative 2. And my range is the y parts, negative 2, negative 5, negative 9, 7, negative 9. That's literally all that we're doing. Domain, just put down the x parts of each point. Range, just put down the y parts of each point. Okay? Not a big deal, right? So let's go back for a minute to the documents. And let's take a look at the vertical line test. Here we go. This is the other homework that we have. The vertical line test simply says if I draw vertical lines, so let's say I go straight down right here, that I'm not going to encounter the line more than once. See this blue line? So if I draw straight up and down lines, doesn't matter where I draw it, I only hit it once. That tells me that every x only has one y. Let's see an example of what doesn't do that. If it fails the vertical line test, then it's not a function. So here it's fine, it doesn't encounter anything. Here it's fine, it only encounters 1 point. Here it's not fine and encounters 2 points. So it is definitely not a function. So keep that in mind as you're doing your homework, and let me know if you need to get online for any tutoring, and I'll make sure and post that site. Thank you.